Hello everybody, my name is Connor and welcome back to NobleAsta TCG, where I post my games, learn from my misplays, and count on your feedback to grow. Today, we are playing against a deck I have not played against in a very long time. We are playing against the OP-03 Blue Nami, the self-mill deck. A little scary, not gonna lie. I feel like I just always forget how to play against this deck because it pops up so rarely at locals, but we're gonna see if I can remember how to play against this deck. But before we do, I do want to remind you guys that if you want to support the channel, head to 1000noble.com to grab or commission a playmat, and don't forget, joining the YouTube membership gets you exclusive discounts, early decklist access, and members-only polls and discussions. And now is the time to join the YouTube membership. We are bulking out content for OP-12, so you guys can have something to watch while I recover from my surgery. But now is the perfect time. If you guys do want to join the membership, helps me out a ton. If not, a playmat is a wonderful thing to pick up. But let's see. I think we are going to go ahead and go second, which is great. We not only have Capone, we have a Luffy Searcher, and I think we have the Kid and Killer. No, that's a Bonnie. I know my cards. We're going to go ahead, draw into Hody, which is nice. If you don't draw into Hody, you don't see Hody at all in this deck. Dropping 2 for the Kid and Killer Searcher. Gonna see what we can find off the Kid and Killer Searcher. A lot of Searchers and a Bonnie. I'm thinking Bonnie here is a good idea because it's a 6k body, so 1 Dawn makes 7. Quick math for you guys. And we can freeze my opponent's Dawn. So even though we do have a Bonnie in our hand already, I think 2 Bonnies is okay. So going up to 4 Dawn, we are going to be able to potentially get a leader ability off if we want to this turn. But no, we're just going to go ahead and search, just trying to... We know that Nami is not really going to be swinging at us, so we are just trying to get some cards in our hand. We don't really feel like we need 2Ks, unless they decide to go a little more aggressive. But overall, we're just going to get what we need out of our hand and see what we can do here. 3 Dawn left. There is a chance I swing at 6, but I don't like swinging 6 into Nami. Thinking about going the whole 8 Dawn, the 8k swing at Nami, trying to decide what I want to do. And it looks like I'm just going to go ahead and play down the Jewelry Bonnie blocker. Take the Scratchman of Pooh, which is nice, as a nice 2k, and put our Bonnie up top, passing turn. I think there's a good chance that that Bonnie is going to stay up there, depending on what my opponent does, and he's just going to go ahead and pass, which seems pretty on the nose for Bonnie, or not Bonnie players, Nami players. But we get another Bonnie, so 3 Jewelry Bonnies in the hand, not the worst thing. Of course, not the best thing either, you could argue, but I don't hate the idea. Trying to decide how much I want to swing, how aggressive I want to be. Looks like we're going to swing, what is that, 7? There you go, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 7 at Nami. Gonna get her to rest some Dawn. Snake Dance comes out to bounce the Kaya back to his hand. Pretty unfortunate there. But now my opponent does have some Dawn to be frozen, so we'll bounce the Luffy back to our hand and play out the Jewelry Bonnie, freezing one of my opponent's Dawn. And then swinging 6, excuse me, and just getting some of the events out of hand. Desert Spada, gonna let him sort the top 3 of his deck, and after that we're gonna go ahead and pass turn. I don't think it was the worst play. Definitely got us to be aggressive. He's using some events on some smaller swings. Of course, all these events mill him out, and he did get to bounce that Kaya, and we see it again. He did get to bounce that Kaya back to hand. Kaya is such a good tool in Nami. It's so annoying, especially when you have no way to get rid of the Kayas before you swing, excuse me. So discarding a couple events and playing down another Kaya, so 2 Kayas. 3 Kaya uses already, because we did see that he bounced it back with Snake Dance last turn. And man, I could never be that lucky. Gonna go ahead, pitch in Nojiko, and something else there I can't see in the video, but I know my opponent did tell me when we actually played. Gonna draw into the Cavendish, and I think Cavendish in this matchup is gonna be so nice because, I mean, restanding Dawn, bigger swings for my bodies. I think it's very worth it. Gonna see what we can do here. Got a nice big hand. Potentially gonna put the Cavendish in life with leader, or with a Capone. Tapping one, gonna play out the Luffy, looking for something we can use here. Gonna take the restand law. I like the restand law grab here. I feel like there's a lot of times where I just don't have the ability to play down the restand law, but I do think that in this match, restand law is really good here. But we are gonna take the life with Capone, putting the Cavendish up top there, so we can get some big swings going, potentially get some cards out of hand, and maybe take a couple of lives here. I'm gonna go ahead, bounce the Searcher Luffy back to hand, playing out Cavendish to restand my Dawn. It's like I never even used any of my Dawn. I think if this was any other match, I think that I would probably have bounced back the Capone, but since I'm really not worried about my life in this match. Maybe I should be, but my opponent is not being very aggressive, so I'm feeling like we are pretty okay here. So 7 at lead. Gonna go ahead and get the White Snake, making his leader a 6k, which is gonna be a little more difficult, but we'll go ahead, swing another 7 at lead, see if we can get more cards out of hand. Gonna tap the 2 Dawn for another Snake Dance, bouncing Kaya back to his hand. I'm never that lucky. Wish I was, but we're gonna tap 5. I will trash the Capone, which, yeah, definitely would not do that in another game. Thinking about playing out the restand law, but we are going to play in the Bonnie to freeze a Dawn. I think that is... I think that's okay. I think we could get some better value off the restand law later, especially because he did use the White Snake. So the second Kaya coming back down again, kind of just being able to bounce these Kayas back, really putting in some work, trashing a White Snake as well as another card, and another Kaya comes down. The amount of filtering he's got to do is insane. Trashing a Nami as well as, I missed that card. He showed him so fast. I know when we were playing, I was like, yeah, I see you. I hear you. I get what's going on. But now, I don't know. Going to see what he's going to do here. 4 Kayas, dude. If I could play Nami and see 4 Kayas, I would play my Blue Nami deck. I've had that thing built. It sits on a shelf and gets dust because I am not this lucky. But, yeah, 4 Kayas on the board. 1 card in hand at this point, though. So I am thinking, okay, there is a chance that I can put in some work here. And it looks like he's going to go ahead, swing at 7 at lead. 2 Dawn up. I'm going to go ahead and counter out of the 7. Not exactly sure how I want to counter out. We will use a 2k, 1k, 2k Scratchman, 1k Capone there. I could have blocked. I just realized I still had the Jewelry Bonnie blocker on board. Probably would have been a better idea just to block, because I knew I didn't want her to hit me for life, because he would get to trash a card because he is attaching Dawn. So gonna go ahead now, and I'm thinking at this point, like, oh, I'll be able to do some pretty good work. We've got that Hody in hand, and he only has 2 Dawn up, so let's go ahead. We'll rest 2 of those Dawn with that Hody. I do remember to take my life in a second. Don't worry, guys. But this sequence of triggers is insane. So we'll go ahead and swing at 7. And he is going to take it, getting a trigger, reading through the trigger, deciding what he wants to do here with the trigger. And he will trigger out the Snake Dance. Snake Dance, going to let him bounce one of his characters back to his hand and return up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 5. So really unfortunate, because as you guys can see, a lot of my characters are a cost of 5. but he is in a bit of a pickle. He doesn't know if he wants to send a bonding back to my hand so I can freeze a Dawn or what. So I think he is still deciding on that, and we're kind of talking through it because it's locals, we're casual. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you can send any of these guys back to my hand. Like, what are you thinking? And I think it is a tough choice because Cavendish has already swung. If he hadn't, he would be the easy choice. But sending a Bonnie back to my hand while it gets him out of a swing, which is kind of in a position where he needs to be, it is gonna refreeze one of his Dawn, which is not great. But he does decide to send one of my Bonnies back, and we'll go ahead and swing another 7. And another trigger coming down here. Gonna see what this trigger is. Definitely thinking about if he wants to do this. I can't remember which trigger this is. It is a Deathwing, so this is actually crazy. He gets the one Deathwing. He told me one Deathwing in his life, and he uses it to send a Hody back to my hand. Really unfortunate, but because of that, I do remember that finally I take that last life, and now I kind of feel like I have to pivot a little bit. So we play the 1-cost Luffy, getting the 2k X-Drake, and then we'll go ahead swing 7. If he's got a counter, he has it, but if not, then we're sitting pretty good. No trigger on that last life, thank God. The amount of triggers that while it was only 2 triggers, there were 2 really, really good triggers for my opponent. Bouncing for the 5 and the 7 cost. I mean, the Deathwing out of life is insane, honestly. Like, and I don't know, like, I really didn't think that I could missequence that, and I feel like I might have missequenced a little bit, but like, I always swing big last, so maybe I didn't, because that was going to be 8 and the rest were going to be like 7s. So it's just really kind of unfortunate, and especially because he said he only runs 1 Deathwing. So I'm going to go ahead and play down the Kaya that he was able to bounce back, trashing 2, and then playing down the Marguerite blocker. Pretty good little blocker. It gets you, lets you draw a card on block, which is nice, or excuse me, on play. I'm gonna go ahead, swing 6, trying to potentially clear one of my bodies, but I have a lot of 2Ks, so I'm just gonna go ahead, give him the 2K X-Drake, the green one, not the yellow one. And while I could Hody again, I don't think this is the time to Hody again. I think that we are actually thinking about playing a 7-cost Law and not exactly healing, but putting more bodies on the board with that 7 Law. So tapping 7, thinking about the Hody for sure, but we are going to go ahead, play a 7 Law, put the Rusted Non on our leader, and I think we are going to go ahead, put the Restand Law in life, putting that face down. And you know what, I thought we were going to play Bonnie, but I actually don't hate this idea either. We're going to go ahead, swing 7 with the Cavendish, restanding 2 Dawn, 4 Dawn up to play with now. Depending on what we want to do here, we could definitely, I think we could have swung bigger with Cavendish, but the peel off coming out of life, dude, I wish my Nami life looked like that. And I can't lie, I was pretty excited there for him because I can't help it, man. Nami was my first One Piece deck. I gotta rep it, gotta give it some love. And getting peel off out of life is Nami's, wet dream, so to speak. So the Gavel coming down, is that Gavel? No, Usopp's Rubber Band of Doom. Gonna mill the top card and trash a card out of his hand. Swinging the 7 at lead, seeing what he's gonna do here. Oh, I think it was a Gavel and a counter, actually, now that I think about it. No, okay, I'm getting confused. But he's gonna go ahead, Snake Dance, bounce Kaya back to his hand, and then we will restand our Cavendish here. And I think if we swung bigger with Cavendish earlier, might have been a little better, or done our Law play earlier. But Cavendish is going to swing, and Marguerite's going to go ahead and block that swing. And now I'm in a bit of a weird spot. I've got these 2 extra Dawn. What do? I'm just going to trash my blocker. Really should have blocked with her a couple of times earlier. And pass turn, or we're going to go ahead and search. Grabbing a 2K because through the blockers, and it was like 2 Bonnies, a Kid. Kid is not useful in this game. Kid is very useful in this game. Let me rephrase. Kid is not useful in this match. So we decide to pass on it. My opponent's gonna go ahead play that that Kaya. His deck is definitely looking pretty low, but my board is looking pretty scary, especially with our 9K body, and of course we have a Hody in our hand if we need it. Yeah, and I have enough counter to protect my board as well. I only have 2 bricks in my hand, so I think we are in a pretty good position here. Of course, he doesn't have a ton of cards in hand, nor does he have any bodies on board that can swing. So he's going to go ahead and do a big swing there. I believe that is 9 if I counted it correctly. At lead, I think. And I think I'm just going to give him the 2, 2, and 1. And actually just go ahead and give him 2 2Ks. Is that, did I math that right? I don't think I mathed that right. That would get me to 9, and it looks like he swung 9, so I would have had to give him the 1K there, but I did have someone come over and talk to me. So, bad math on my part, but I don't think it ultimately matters, because at this point, I'm thinking my board is big enough to where I can go for game, especially because I have Hody, and Hody is going to be able to rest at least 2 of those Dawn. He could have left those Dawn up for... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 characters on board right now. I am not going to swing the Luffy. I better not swing with the Luffy. Dude, I'm a mess after this. Holy moly, it started off good, but we'll go ahead and swing at 7. Yeah, 6 characters. What am I doing? What is this? If I swing with that Luffy, I'm going back in time and punching myself in the kneecap. Or the gut. Probably the gut. But he's going to go ahead and use the White Snake, make my math a little harder, down to 1 Dawn now. Trying to figure out, going to go ahead and, counter out with the 1K Apis. Going to go ahead and swing at 8, just raising the number of Dawns, since he is a 6K leader. Just trying to get up to 2 above. Trying to do my math right, but we all know that's the hardest part of this game. And 1 Dawn coming down, gonna go ahead, give me his hand to mill 2, and he's gonna hope for a really good trigger off the last life. But I am gonna go ahead swing 6 here because he has no cards in hand. Last life is gonna be the Usopp's rubber band, letting him draw a card and trash a card. I'll go ahead and swing 7 at lead, and that will be game. Thankfully, I didn't swing with that Luffy. Dude, what am I just put Luffy in the trash corner. Come on. But, yeah, pretty close game. My opponent had, 5 cards in deck? Really, really close. Really well played by my opponent. He really saw so many good triggers, and seeing all 4 Kayas is a dream if you're playing Nami. So, overall, I think we played pretty well. I think there were some mis-sequencing errors, but yeah, I think overall pretty pleased with this game, and I hope you guys are too. I hope you guys are proud of me. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked this video, hit that like button down below. It helps me out more than you could ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
すぐに片付けますのでご安心を。おらー、これじゃあキリがねえ。無限